Alright guys, we're going to be in the EBR Hotch today. This is the tier 7 French wheeled light tank, right? And I 3-marked the AMD 178B. I've finally moved on to playing this vehicle, and we're going to be on Runeberg for this one. It's not the greatest map, or is it for the EBR Hotchkiss, right? This is a very different type of vehicle. And you'll see as I pull up here, I'm able to get a shot into the enemy EBR, 280 right off the bat, right? So this vehicle works quite differently than most other light tanks. This is where at tier 7, I would argue, where the wheelies start to feel quite a bit different. In the fact that they turn very quickly and their speed is greater than most light tanks. I'd still argue it's close, right? You can only get up to about 70, 71. MT25 is able to hit some pretty wild shots on me here without getting lit. I found it pretty remarkable because he's sitting probably in this corner, and I found it pretty crazy that I wasn't able to spot him the second time, but the Hotchkiss doesn't really have much view range, right? So this is something you have to keep in mind. But at tier 7, this is where these vehicles kind of start to branch off away from other light tanks. The AMD 178B at tier 6 plays very much like a regular light tank because it has no more mobility, and really the turning radius is not that much better than the other light tanks that are tracked. But at tier 7, this is where it gets fun, and I've been playing this vehicle for you guys, man. Like, people really wanted to see me play the wheelies. I've never been a fan of these vehicles just because they don't have any view range. It's not even so much that I like, well, Whirls hates wheelies because they ruin the game. Like, partially, yes, but so does Artie, and you can argue that even 90 does as well. Like, there's always going to be a tank that can ruin your day, guys, but it is the game and you have to accept it. And, you know, it is what it is, right? But I've never really been a fan of the wheelies just because their playstyle is so much different than regular light tanks, and you really have to be good at understanding how you can spot an enemy team with limited view range. On this vehicle, I'm actually running Brothers in Arms already. I kind of cheated with the Hotchkiss because I took all my remaining crew members from like the Battle Pass, and I think even one from like last year's Holiday Ops. And I stuck them all in this tank. So I have Brothers in Arms. I have like a 3-skilled crew already, right? And I have Brothers in Arms, Concealment, and Snapshot and Smooth Ride and all that. So you can call this cheating if you want. I figured I would just get a good start on the Hotchkiss here. And now watch. The reason I wanted to bring you this one on Runeberg, I've played like 4 battles in this vehicle, right? But the reason I wanted to bring you this one on Runeberg is so you can see how good this vehicle is at getting away. Look, one of my wheels is damaged, and I'm still able to kind of maneuver away from these people. And now watch how quick this thing is. Like, you see how it turns? This is what I absolutely love about the wheelies, because if you're fast with the WASD keys, you can really like fool people, right? And even here, I hit the building, and these people still can't hit me, right? They still miss their shots. And it's just incredible what this thing is able to do. And then I'm able to hit the MT25 as he's running away while I'm on the move. So this is where people start to get that feeling of like, oh my god, the wheelies are broken, they're so OP. And I would argue, up to this point, right, the AMD 178B is kind of a turd. The EBR, I would say, is fairly balanced, right? Because you have some high-hitting HE shells. The tank, it's 260 a shot, right? 75 millimeters of pen, same as the Panhard AMD 178B. And at tier 7, having about 400 meters of view range on a fairly stacked tank is still not that great, right? So this is why I feel like the vehicle is pretty balanced, and you can see how easy it is to get away. That's what makes these things so powerful, is they're able to dive in and dive out so freaking fast. And like in a regular light tank, I would be concerned about getting out of here, but it was incredible how quick I was able to get out of here, right? We're dodging the M6, we're 50 meters away from this guy, and we're dodging him, right? And these things are just incredible on the move, and this is only the tier 7. It just gets faster and faster, and it turns faster and faster from here, right? The tanks have more torque, they have more horsepower, all that, right? So that's where the EBR 105 is, you know, that's where that tank really excels, right? Is in this whole, like, maneuvering around the map like a snake, right? Doing the still gut slalom and being able to spot people while turning at some 70 miles an hour, 90 kilometers an hour, whatever the heck they do, right? I mean, the EBR 105 can basically do highway speeds, arguably. So that's what makes these things so powerful, and that's why I kind of enjoy them. But again, they play so much differently from your regular light tank once they start going up the the tech tree, right? So this is why, if you don't really understand light tanks super well, I would urge you guys to play tracked light tanks first. And the reason I say this is just because you're going to end up biting off more than you can chew with the EBR. I'm telling you, like, it is going to happen. I think I get a fairly high roll there on the no, it's actually 170 a shot, right? So that's not bad either, man. And I think this is only the second gun. I'm only running the second gun on this vehicle, and I'd like to get the third. That's the most powerful one. But this is where this thing is excelling, man. Like, you really need to use its gun. You need to use the HE. You need to use its maneuverability. Where it lacks, and this is why I say this one is kind of balanced, because, yeah, I mean, the tank's gun is good. Its mobility is good. Its accuracy on the move is good. It's not great. But where it lacks is only having 400 view range, right? And you're going to get wrecked, like, on these open maps if you're facing tanks that, such as like the LTG, right, that have decent view range and really good camo, better camo than this vehicle. And that's where you're going to run into the problems, man. And you'll see this is kind of where I run into the problems as well, right? So now we've successfully retreated here on Runeberg. We were getting attacked. I thought we were going to lose this game, right, because they were on the offensive for a little bit there, and then we're somehow able to bring this game back, and I'm at 1500 damage, 500 assist about, and now it's a situation, right, where I have enough HP to make this work. But if you didn't, right, if you didn't have the HP to make this work, this is where it would be some trouble for you, right? We're able to kind of run in here, spot the Hellcat. I'm doing this zigzagging motion. He's still hitting me here. He's getting lit for it though, and now people are going to hit this guy. And we can run in here. I try and hit him with the AG, I think. I don't know if it pens. It does pen. And then I ram him here at the end for 79 damage. I give him 276. And that's the game, guys. We did 1825 damage and 1000 spotting. But where this thing is lacking is towards those end game moments where you need to spot the enemy team, man. If you have 400 view range, it's not going to be so easy, right? You really have to try and use your mobility and basically bait shots. I know there was a guy talking to me about baiting shots in a light tank. He was like, it's all about baiting shots on Prokhorovka. I would tend to disagree with that. I think it's much better to try and stay passive, but everyone has their own play styles. These are the tanks you want to be trying to bait shots with, right? The Hotchkiss, even not so much. But once you get up to like the Lynx and the EBR 90 and the EBR 105, these are the vehicles you want to be baiting shots with, man, right? Because they turn so fast, and it's so much easier to dodge shells than it would be in even like the LT432, T100 LT, or even much smaller vehicles like the EVA 90, right? Because these things just turn so quick, and you can fling them around in certain ways where people will think you're going one way and then you're going the other way, and they're so unpredictable, right? And that's how you want to be playing these vehicles. So I try to be unpredictable when I'm moving around, coming after the Hellcat here, and I think we gave it our best shot. This was the best game I've played in this thing so far. 4 kills, 1825 damage, 1045 assists, and that's it, guys. But again, I would say if you're new to light tanks, I would not go down this tech tree, because these vehicles really, even more so than the tracked light tanks, they require a really good understanding of the game. Yes, you can be like the stupid guy that doesn't know how to play and just run the ridge lines because you have the wheels, right? But you really don't want to play it just like that, right? It has a very unique style in the fact that you need to use its gun at first. You don't want to go YOLOing out in the first minute of the game, right? Like, don't mistake my words. You do not want to just YOLO out in the middle of the open at the very beginning of the game, because that seems to be what a lot of people think you're supposed to do with these vehicles. And the reality is that's going to get you killed very quickly at the start of the game, or even in the middle of the game. You want to be around at the end. But at the same time, you don't want to be so passive that you're not really able to use the gun, right? So try and find a middle ground, use the gun, make active scout runs when you can, but just keep in mind you have 400 view range. And finally, to sum up the whole balance thing, guys, I really think this tank is balanced. The AMD 178B is weak AF, man, but this tank, because it can turn faster, because I feel like the gun is a little more powerful and all that, I do like this thing, and it has a little bit more view range. We'll see about the Lynx. I did go up to the Lynx on my old account. I was really bad in that vehicle, man. Like, now that I understand the game, I mean, we're talking probably 4 years ago, right, that I actually got the Lynx. So the wheelies have been around a long time, man. They've been around a long time. It doesn't feel like it's been that long, but it has been. And I got this cute little camo on this thing too. But anyway, guys, I hope that sums up everything. Let's get into the end plates. We'll see about the links when I get to the links, but I got a long way to go. But so far, I like this thing. I feel like it's fairly balanced. But again, it really has it starts to have a different type of play style at this tier level, I really think. First class, by the way, it seems fairly easy to get masteries on this vehicle. Like, this is first class. I didn't feel like this was spectacular. It was 4 kills, 1825 damage, 1151 assist. It didn't seem like a spectacular game to me. 1021 experience, but I think, honestly, man, people just die too early in these things. I think that's why it's fairly easy to mark these vehicles, and you can see to get a 3 mark, you only need 1,700 combined at tier 7, and I think for the WZ, it's over 2,000, right? The WZ131. I don't know if you can see that here. Here we go with the camera. But yeah, man, this thing, this is a really nice tank as well. And I actually have a 100% win rate over the 4 battles. That'll never stick. But this thing, man, I think it requires like well over 2,000 combined, right? Whereas the Hotchkiss, you only need 1,707 combined. So again, man, you got to use the gun. If you don't have the view range, you need to be doing damage, guys. That's really it. And that's how you're going to pad that kind of combined score. So 1825 damage, 4 kills, 1,021 experience. And here we go. This was the total, like, detailed report and everything. 14 shots fired, 11 hits, 9 pens. And yeah, man, we did almost 3,000 combined or so on this map. And I think we played it pretty gosh darn well, man. I am running this thing, by the way, guys, the setup. Optics in the scouting slot. I do have the bounty vents on this vehicle to give it a hair more view range, and then I'm running just the standard low noise exhaust. And over here, I want to say it's getting us like 42% concealment. I never have the concealment tab open, but look at the aiming time and all. The dispersion's actually not that great, but it's the aiming time on this gun. And the stats really do not tell you like how the gun is on the move. That's something you have to dive into. I think like in the kind of like detailed statistics to see what this thing can do on the move, right? Because it's not going to tell you that. Like, dude, the LTG and this thing, especially the WZ131, you cannot hit shots on the move. Don't even try, dude. Don't even try, like, in these two vehicles to take shots on the move, man. Like, forget it. You're never going to hit them, right? So that's all, guys. I hope that gives you enough information to go on with the EBR. Tier 7, again, a lot of people wanted me to go down this line. I'll give you just a quick snapshot of the crew here. Again, we are running, I forget this chick's name, but these other 3 guys from the battle passes, and then it's like Recon, Brothers in Arms, she has repairs, she has the firefighting, and then Brothers in Arms, Concealment, Snapshot, Smooth Ride, Situation, Low Awareness, Repairs, etc. So it's actually a 4-skill crew, right? Which is pretty incredible, but you want to have a good crew in this thing, man. Otherwise, you're going to lack view range severely. So that's all. Hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you guys for the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.